how's it going? This is Mr. B with your Thursday, May 21st lesson. With this one, it's going to have a little bit more time that you can spend on it, so I won't be posting a new lesson on Monday. Instead, you can check back on Wednesday, May 27th for your next post, so I'll give you a little bit of extra time to be working on this without having to worry about a new science lesson. So we'll go through the PowerPoint, I'll explain the worksheets that you have available to you, and then that will be all that we go over for today. So looking at our PowerPoint here, you're going to start off with an electricity then versus now. So with a partner, so with a family member, or just on your own, you're going to come up with a list of things that we used to use electricity for in the past, what we use it for now, and then the middle ground will be what we used it for in the past and also presently. So it gives you about 5 minutes as a timeline just to figure out some of your ideas. So the worksheet looks like this. So in the past, they may have used electricity for cars to power like some of their engines and stuff like that. Some of the things that we use for now are video games, computers, and stuff like that. And then in the middle, we've always used it for light bulbs. We've always used it for other things like that. Your list don't have to be very long, just maybe 2 to 3 things in each section. Just as a starting point, you try and get at least 1 in each section if you can, but 2 to 3 I think should be manageable for you guys, and that's what you'll start off your day with. And so that's what you can use for the first 5 minutes of your science time. And then as we go on to our next one, so power generation and the environment. This will be your lesson that will take you a little bit longer to do. So you'll be selecting one of the 5 different sources of electricity that we have in Canada. This focuses on plants that are in Ontario, not necessarily Manitoba, just because Ontario is much larger, so they have a lot more plants and sources of energy and where they generate it from. So it just gives you a little bit more variety. And then you'll be gathering your information on that energy source and the plant itself. We'll just keep going on this before I show you the worksheets that you'll be given. So you'll select one of these 5 sources of energy. We've kind of talked about these in the past, so you can focus on one that you've already sort of looked into, or you can pick a new one that you haven't done any research into. Then you'll be selecting a power generating station from that source. So if you pick a nuclear energy source, make sure you pick a nuclear power plant just so it matches. And then the final part will be researching how the energy is transformed into electricity, how it benefits us, and how it caught, and some of the negatives. So a pros cons list for us as a society as like Canada, and then also the cost to the environment that it's in. Doing your best to find all of that information, but if you can't find some of it, don't worry, you can leave some of it off. You'll be given a booklet. Presentation style is you don't have to worry about that as long as you fill in the booklet. That's all that you'll be required to do. If you want to put it into PowerPoint form, that's fine, but it's not required. So you can just fill out the booklet that I'll show you, and that will be enough for this assignment. You don't have to go above and beyond and do a PowerPoint unless you're choosing to, but you don't have to do it that way. And here are the worksheets that you will be using. So we've already discussed this one. That will be for your intro activity. And then here. This is just some general information about the electricity and the generating of energy in Canada, and specifically, again, like I said, in Ontario. So these are the different ones that they have. You'll notice that I've left some of them off, like I don't include wood and I don't include fuel oil and stuff like that. Make sure you pick one of the topics that's from the PowerPoint. If not, there's just less generating stations available, so it's a little bit harder to find the information on them. Then what you'll be doing, so like I said, if you pick nuclear energy, you'll choose one of these 3 stations to do a little bit more information on. If you choose hydroelectricity, you can see there's a lot larger of a list. Fossil fuels, biomass, and then on the end here, there is wind energy. So you'll see that these are the stations that are involved in those, and that's why some of those energy sources were left off, because there aren't generating stations for them. So these are the list. You pick one of these, and then you go on. And this is the sheet that you will be filling out. So it's called a planning page because this activity would normally involve a PowerPoint. But in our case, you can just fill out the planning page, and that is all that you would need to do. You'll start off by telling us which energy source you selected up here. You'll then talk about which generating station you're doing a little bit more research on. You'll explain how the energy is transformed into electrical energy. So again, we've already done an activity with this where we talked about how hydroelectricity, the turbine will turn, which powers a generator, which turns that energy into electricity. Then it then processes out. So you've already done a little bit of an explanation here on how energy is converted from wind to electricity and stuff like that. So just that's what it's asking you to do here. And then at the very bottom here, the benefits and the costs. So again, pros and cons, good things, bad things, that kind of thing. So what are the benefits to your energy source or your energy generating station to society? So that's the community that it's in, the people that work at it, stuff like that. And then the environment. So does it help save an environment? Does it help improve an environment? Stuff like that. Like how does it help the environment? And then you also do the negative. So what's a negative effect that it has to the people in the community, to Canada, however you want to take that. And then what are some of the negative effects that it has on the environment? Does it take away habitats for animals? Does it pollute the area around it? Stuff like that. So depending on your energy source and your energy station, these answers may vary, but you want to do a list of the good things and a list of the bad things. Try and have 2 examples, whether that's 2 in each column or 2 overall. Some of the power stations may be harder to find. So if you can find 2 pros, 2 good things, 2 benefits, and 2 costs in total, that would be awesome. So that's like 1 for each of the headers, or just 2 in general. So if you can find more about the environment and more than about society, you can have just 2 reasons, 2 pros for the environment and stuff like that. So just 2 overall good things and 2 overall bad things that you find. And that's all that you guys will have to do for this lesson. Again, I'm giving you a little bit more time. I won't be posting a new lesson on Monday, just to give you guys a little bit more time to ask questions and do your fact finding and stuff like that. And then come back Wednesday, May 27th. I will have a new lesson for you guys. Have a great weekend, and I hope you had a great long weekend as well.